are you all doing? Who all got drunk last night? Too much wine? Well, that's what we do when we are in Napa. So it's so good to welcome you all back to Cultivate 2026, re-hosting you back in Napa. What a phenomenal place. I mean, whoever chose the venue, especially that hilltop place last evening for reception, was just phenomenal. But more importantly, right? By the way, in the evening, Phil is going to do a show. I had a special request to him, don't do it in the morning, because that is a tough act to follow. So, but do watch out for that. See, as an entrepreneur, we started Eightfold back in the days, and it is such a humbling moment to welcome you all today at this event. So let me take a bow of gratitude. You all make it all worth it. We staying away from these companies represent more than or roughly $20 trillion of market cap. You all trusting us with your most important activity, the most important role in the organization, to hire the right talent, to deliver on that talent, to develop that talent. Thank you all. You all have flown in from different parts of the world. Do take time to learn about AI, to learn about HR, to make new friends, to learn what we are doing. Many of you have been in the journey with us for years, so thank you for that. Some of you just started, and some of you are contemplating starting with Eightfold. So this is what the dream was in 2016 when we started Eightfold. I had no idea what applicant tracking system is. I had no idea what HRIS is. But what I knew that it is wrong to hire people based on who you know, not based on what they can do. And as we build out the talent intelligence journey, you will hear from all these companies who have agreed to come on the stage to share their story, what they have done to adopt Eightfold, how they are hiring, how they are transforming their organization, how they are able to bring a great experience to their employees. 9 million people have been hired through Eightfold's platform over the years. 9 million people. That was the mission with which we started the company. Can we enable the right career for everyone in the world? Can we change fundamentally the proposition that let's not hire people based on credentials, but based on skills? Because frankly, right, in today's time and age, if you start looking for people, how many of you in this room have 10 years of generative AI experience? Maybe 5? Maybe 3? And every time I ask this question, there's always 1 or 2 people who raise their hand. And now you also know that how important proctoring is, how important our role is to weed out the reality versus not, right? But with AI, everything is changing. The most common question that gets asked to me is, will software engineering role persist over the next 4 years or not? What will happen to the role of HR business partner? What will happen to the role of a recruiter, or a designer, or a product manager, or a SDR? Pick your name. Everyone is constantly asking, what will happen? And frankly, I don't know which of these roles will survive or not. I have no idea. But what I can guarantee you is that the software engineer of tomorrow is going to look extremely different from the software engineer of today. The designer of tomorrow is going to look very, very different from the designer of today. That is guaranteed. And that has an implication on how your organization is going to shape up, how you should structure the roles, what skills you should be assessing people on, whether it is a learnability, whether it is adaptability, whether it is a focus to attention to detail, whether it is a business savviness. So we have been talking to you all and hearing from you. And so I'm very excited to announce the launch of Workforce Readiness, a software solution from us built on top of talent intelligence platform to enable you to build the right workforce, a future-ready workforce. So watch out in the demo booth sessions outside. Also, Sachit and Varun are going to talk about in the product session tomorrow, more details on that. But thank you for that feedback. Thank you for that learning to us. Last year, at Cultivate, I also introduced this concept of agents, how we are focusing on that. And as we thought about what we can do with agentic AI, how we can think of automation, one observation that we had was the most important single process in the entire talent function is interview. So of course, right, screening a candidate is an interview. Assessing them for coding is an interview. Language is an interview. Doing all kind of functional conversations is an interview. But what is even more interesting is even engagement surveys are interviews. Performance management is an interview. Succession planning is an interview. Learning and development is an interview. So we said that if we can automate that process, we can bring AI over there. What we can do is we can bring consistency. We can bring compliance. So let me ask a question which I tend to ask a lot, right? How many people, can you give me a genuine show of hands, believe that it's an okay thing to ask a candidate where they live? And almost always, a number of people say, yeah, maybe in some cases you can. And the answer is no, you can never ask a candidate where they live. The only thing you can ask is, can you show up at work when it is needed? So whether it's compliance, consistency, any of those things, right? So with that, we launched AI Interviewer. It's been barely a year since we went to the market. We got the HR Tech Award of the Year, so thank you for the support for that. More than 25% of the folks, our customers, have already adopted it. If it was an independent thing, it would be one of the fastest growing products of all times, period. And the reason is, quite a few times we think of it, the value of that comes from the fact that, recruiter efficiency, quality, consistency, which I mentioned. But think about a candidate. At 8 p.m. on Friday evening, they come out from a dinner and they are like, okay, I need to really think about my career. Where do I go? I come to the website of Eightfold, apply for a job. And there are two options. One is, thank you for submitting your application. We'll get back to you. A week later, 2 weeks later, they get an email from a recruiter saying that, can you tell me your availability? And that moment is lost. On the other hand, if they can click at that time, start the interview, everything changes. Customer satisfaction goes up, and time to hire drops dramatically from months to weeks to days. In fact, some of our customers are hiring candidates within 24 hours from the first touch point. Because now, on Saturday morning, when they talk to the candidate, they already know everything about that candidate. See, our thesis in 2016 was simple, right? Let's hire people based on skills. So what we did was we went out, analyzed the data of more than 1 billion people, look at their career trajectories to understand what they have done, what they can do next in their career. But we were limited in the data that we had access to. We looked at the data of the past hirers. We looked at the data of the enterprise. We looked at the skills that person is talking about in their resume. But now with AI Interviewer, we have the ability to engage with them in the conversation, to dig deep over there, to really understand their experience, so that we can give the right profile, right information to hiring managers, to recruiters, so that they can assess this person well. So one thing that kept coming back is that why stop at screening? Why stop at first round interview? Why not help me to interview for language assessment? Why not help me to interview for coding? Why not help me to interview for functional analysis, right? So with that, we are launching Interview 360, a single interview platform to interview candidate across anything that you really need to understand from a candidate. It is now live. Again, you can demo it. My suggestion would be try it out yourself, because there's nothing like actually trying it out. And now, as you're looking at this, you're hearing all these things, right? One thing that will keep coming up is that, is the pace of change too high? Are we trying to do too many things too quickly? We talked about talent agents, then we talked about agents. Like, are we constantly adding more and more things, and can we adopt these things? And frankly, the answer is yes. The pace of the change is extraordinary, but not only at Eightfold, in the world. Everyone is talking about like how we are going through an AI revolution. But then the answer is, can humans adapt to it? And is this new? Well, industrial revolution happened, and maybe that was well before any one of us in this room were born. And then the revolution of the web happened, everything moved to the web, e-commerce, digital commerce, mobile, cloud. So it's really nothing new, right? These things keep on happening. So what is unique about this revolution? 200 years back, the world's population was less than $1 billion. The world was full of hunger, poverty, malnutrition. 200 years later, the world's population has grown eightfold. And now we have abundance of food as well. Harvesting machines, the technology revolution, industrial revolution helped us on the labor side, on the cost side, on the efficiency side. But what really solved the problem was the seeds. The growth, the productivity of those seeds was so much more. And time is same as that, but time compression has happened. Because for the first time, we are no longer talking about the revolution that is happening through software development. It's not about what we are building. It's about how we are building. And that is fundamentally different. And many of you might have tried Cloud Code, Codex, any of these platforms out there, right? Sometimes you hear about these things, but they don't hit you. So one day, around 3 months back, I came home. I have a 8-year-old son who loves to play video games, and I'm not a big fan of it. So what I did was I came home and I saw he's playing a new video game. It was really nice with all the guns and shooting and all the reward system, everything over there. And sometimes I get very angry with him. I'm like, how did you get this game? Who paid for it? Who let you buy this game? Did your mom allow you? And maybe she pampered you, which she should not, right? All of us go through those motions. And the reality was, no, he vibe-coded it himself, an 8-year-old creating an iPhone app. And all of us think our kids are geniuses, but let's be honest, they are not. They are just average kids. But an average kid is able to create an iPhone app by himself. And for those of you who in the room who are not software engineers, who have not done coding, during my undergraduate work, I spent a year building a model to display an object on the screen. See, he's the son of a genius, right, as you can see. So what does it really mean? One camp in the world right now is that, let me not even try to pronounce this, SaaSpocalypse, is the world coming to an end. Software as an industry is going to die. What does it mean for companies like 8-Fold, which build software? Or what does it mean for you all who buy software from companies like us? Is everything coming to an end? And yes, there's a group of folks who are in this camp. I am fundamentally 200% on a different camp. Anytime there's an abundance, that doesn't mean we need less, we need even more. I think we are genuinely entering the golden age of software. See, I'm a big analogy person. I always like to tell stories, right? And you make up the stories. So how many of you in this room love to shop? Come on. You all can raise your hands, right? But the best part of shopping, right? Don't you like going to the fitting room and trying the clothes on and they don't fit you well? Especially you find that perfect shirt, the pattern is good, the price is good, everything is good, and you tried it, just doesn't fit, and then you have to pick the second one or the third one. Because I wish God has made us in 3 sizes when we are taking birth. You are small, you are medium, you are large, and that is how it will work. No, it is not. So what happens, all of us have a wardrobe full of clothes, and we end up wearing only 2 or 3, because those are the ones which are most comfortable, and everything else does not fit, right? Because as human beings, we come in all shapes and sizes, which is what has made this world colorful, which is what makes us interesting. Alternate is, you go to a tailor, you get custom tailored, they take the fitting, they take your sizes, they really understand you. And they build it for you, custom tailor it for you. And now everything makes sense. Your wardrobe is much, much better. The challenge, that shirt which you could have bought for $50 is not going to cost you $200. The one that you could have just walked into the store or on Amazon Prime, got a 24-hour delivery, is now going to take you 2 to 4 weeks to tailor. So not very practical option, but that is the ideal option, if all of us can afford both on time and money. And frankly, that is the challenge that you all run into as well. The reason why you are trillion-dollar companies out here in this room is not because your organization is also similar to the same small, medium, large. It's not that Citibank and every other bank is identical. No, every bank is unique because they are able to offer unique services to their clients. That is what has made you interesting. Now, to serve your employees, what you end up doing is you buy a software, then you realize, oh, this does not solve for university recruiting. Let me go buy another software. Sounds good. Now you have two. Then you buy the third one for event recruiting, then the fourth one for ATS, the fifth one for screening, sixth one for AI interviews, seventh one for some agents, eighth one for your career website. It keeps going on and on and on. So how many of in the room are proud to say they have more than 10 different HR tech vendors they are working with? OK, maybe 20, maybe 30, maybe 50, maybe 100. I know many of you have more than 100 different HR tech vendors you work with. The implication is bloated systems. The implication is fragmented systems. The implication is that your employees, your recruiters, your HR business partners, you as HR leaders keep going from one screen to another, to another, to another, to another. And still, it does not keep up. The right answer would be the way you can get it custom tailored. If you can get it custom tailored for your organization, it will look very, very different. Won't it be exciting? So, I mean, at Eightfold, people know that Ashutosh is a little bit crazy. Sometimes he thinks of all kinds of ideas. So what happened 2 months back? We had few folks from our India team visiting us, HR team. So I met them in the hallway on Monday morning. I was like, what's going on? Why are you here? And they are like, oh, Ashu, you know, we have been implementing HRIS. We have been trying to configure it, set it up for our organization. And now 9 months in, we are ready to deploy it next month. So true story. And I was like, oh, Shrubi, that sounds exciting, really, really. But how about, you know what, my son coded this iPhone app. Can we try coding HRIS by ourselves? Let that sink in. I'm asking her, Shrubi, who's a HR person, can you try vibe coding an HRIS, the one that you have been trying to implement for 9 months? And of course, it was like a deer caught with eyes open in a headlight for next 2 days. And I was like, you know what, why don't you come back to me on Friday and show me what you can do? Just try it out. So she wasted 2 days. She kept complaining about why it can't be done. All kind of valid concerns. Will it scale? Will it be stable? Will it be robust? Will it be compliant? Will it be secure? But I don't know all the details. You know, it's HRIS, private data, all kind of things, right? But guess what? In a couple of weeks, she went from starting from scratch on top of Eightfold platform, and let me just show you what she built. It's a bit long video, but wanted to show you what's the art of possibility. It's a complex system. So really, the question is, if my son can build that app, and Shubi, if you're in the audience, can you please stand up? She built this thing. And it's not just a simple headless system. It's not about can you access it from cloud or co-work or somewhere else. It is an entire product build. So the question that begs to us is that how can we help you do this as well? So, ladies and gentlemen, I am super excited to introduce to you all Talent Forge, an offering from Eightfold which will enable you to build your own enterprise-grade software. See, the answer is not vibe coding. You can build that iPhone app, but it won't scale. It won't be compliant. It won't be secure. It can break all the time. It won't have all the corner cases solved. But at the same time, if the art of possibility is there, can we help you? Can we work with you so that you can really have the answer to your needs? Because see, the issue is this, right? HR today, technology is barely keeping the lights on. Whereas what you really wanted and do it is HR technology to drive your business. And for that, what need is a custom-tailored solution for you, built by you. And as you are doing that, ensuring that the trust matters. Because the function that you are in is an extremely critical function. The system has to be scalable, has to be secure, has to be compliant. Everything that you trust from Eightfold to provide you on an enterprise-grade solution, whether you're one of the largest banks in the world, or largest tech companies, or largest healthcare institution, you should be able to get all that, but at the same time not be in a queue for 2 years waiting for your enhancement request to get approved by Sachit, our Chief Product Officer, or your favorite HR tech vendor, right? Because that is the unfortunate challenge. Your organization is unique, so let's not force fit into your organization. Let's build something that is relevant for you. So around 2.5 weeks back, I said, OK, this is all working. We can now do this. We have the platform to do this. We opened up the APIs and MCP server. So what I did was I called Manoj from Deloitte. Manoj is the Chief Product and Technology Officer at Deloitte Human Capital. I said, Manoj, do you want to take it for a spin? Let's see, we have Cultivate happening in 2 weeks. And again, here I am, a startup calling one of the largest companies in the world, saying that, can you try to see what you can do in 2 weeks? So Manoj, let's welcome him. Please join me and share what you have done.
Thank you, Raju. Thank you very much. Exciting, isn't it? So how many of you are in the business of building software or developing software for your business stakeholders? Just raise your hand. Quite a bit, right? And how many of you are really frustrated by the time it takes us to get there? 9 months, 12 months. That's what Ashu was talking about, right? Just raise your hand. So quite a bit, right? So all of us are in this business. Now, I am an engineer. So this story starts where most engineer stories do. With a conversation, with some hope, and in the end, we all walk back to our homes. So I was at a conference with Ashu around a few months back, and we got talking about how the profession of engineering is changing. We are entering into an age of abundance where everyone can build the software they want customized to their own needs. There will no longer be the need to have one size fits all, one performance management system for every company, right? So we talked about it. But then after that, we had a great conversation. We left the room. We went home. Now, it was a great conversation, But then after that, I let it go. So 2 weeks back, I got a call from Ashu. And he said, look, we have been talking about this, and I was thinking about the conversation, and I have something that I want you to try it out. Can you try? Can you and your team try this? It was a surprise. The proposal was interesting. But I said, OK, there are 2 weeks left for Cultivate. Why not do something? Why not try it out? So we thought we'll build something small. So let's go to we built something which we call the Talent Hub. Specifically, we picked a problem in an area where we had a gap. The custom solution we built was the Talent Hub, powered by 8-fold APIs. Everything on this slide that you see, we built it in a week. So a couple of things, for example. Multiple profiles, but one platform. So whether you are a recruiter, we are a manager, whether you are a candidate, all with the same underlying data, able to see based on what you want to do. Same product, different lens from different folks, right? That's the design choice we made, but not a feature that's toggle, and you have all this governance and all this code beneath this to flip different feature flags and all of that, right? Let's talk about industry compensation and market intelligence. So it was not just about what's available through 8-fold APIs. That was good. But then we also embedded it with interesting other market intelligence and insights. For example, for a recruiter, it's important to know how the job role is, what's the market value of it, what's the compensation range. So Deloitte has a database called Labor Market Intelligence Database, where we have a ton of this information. So what you see on the left side in the corner, it has the industry benchmarks. It basically says that for a data scientist role, 151 to 194K salary range, 56 days time to fill, highly competitive job profile. The recruiter, and it's a flagged high, right? So the recruiter never has to leave the platform to see if their offer that they're giving to the candidate is competitive or not. There is AI-assisted decision-making, what you see in the bottom right-hand corner, where it provides you the candidate, their scoring against the role, the match percentage, the top skills, the calibration, the stage progression, and the next actions that you can take that the AI is suggested. Human in the loop, but making most of the decisions and the choices for you. We also built a conversational NLP-based assistant. Any questions you have, how many open positions do I have? As simple as that to as complex as, if I'm making this offer to this candidate, is that going to be good enough for them? Do I have a good chance for success? And with the data that it has, grounded on live data, industry benchmarks, all of this, it helps you answer and make those particular suggestions. And this is powered by a prompt library that you have been building over a period of time that you can use. So we exceeded our expectations in building this app. I said, why not build another one? Because we did this in 1 week, right? Why not try for another one?
See, that's the problem when you give 2 weeks.
So introducing you to the second one we built, which is the Employee Hub. Same build pattern, but different problem. We just flipped the lens to an employee from a recruiter. Because retention and hiring, in many ways, are really the same problem, viewed from 2 different sides. And so as part of this Employee Hub, we built an AI-powered employee pane. We designed the growth journey of the particular employee, people days, what dialogues that are having, what conversations that are having, what are their milestones, all in one place that they can see and their journey. We also designed it for think about it like a growth-wrapped view, almost like if Spotify can do that to your music and have Spotify wrapped, why can't talent do that for you? And how can you not have a career-wrapped view? And then we also build the real-time feedback management. One of the biggest problems that I have seen in performance management is people taking the time to have the discussions with their managers and with their peers regarding how they are going. Getting continuous real-time feedback. AI-powered assistance in scheduling these times, in having the conversations, in collecting the meeting notes, and all of that together so that you have the next actions for your career very, very clear. So real-time feedback, built into this. You see, you have got goals, real-time feedback, skills, assessment, all in one workflow. So this is the second one is really AI-suggested growth opportunities. So Eric, for example, in this example, Eric is an operations specialist today. The platform shows him that his potential next career could be a business operations manager, 14% match for possibility to do it. Or an operations supervisor, again a 14% match, but then he doesn't have a chance to be a recruiting manager, 0% fit for him, right? But more importantly, all this gives you is what skills you need to build and what do you need to develop in order to go after the job potentials that you have within that company. A great platform to improve employee engagement in their career and performance. All of this built in one more week after the first one. So that's 2 weeks, right? So both these applications built in 2 weeks on 8-Folds APIs with Deloitte forward deployed engineers. We are building this skill set to take these platforms and build from there. So going back to Ashu.
So did you put your 200,000 employees on this thing or 2 employees?
Well, it's enterprise grade. Now the capability that you have is enterprise grade. There's a lot of things you need to still think about. You need to still think about change management. We need to think about security. You need to think about compliance, all of that. But you know what? When we are deploying technology, the biggest pole in the tent has been always the development of the software. And in many ways, I see that particular part shrinking further, that pole shrinking further, and giving us the capability to move at a much more faster pace, right? Getting the humans in the loop and empowering these changes, right? So going back to this, the conversation we had with you, Ashu, right? Turns out you're right. Huh? We are in an age of abundance in software, enterprise-grade software, building that, and that's the model. That's the model that Deloitte is developing. We embed the engineers. We iterate with you. We ship a product that's yours. Your data, your brand, with benchmarks, industry benchmarks. It's not a license. It's not a product, but it's a product that is co-built specifically for you. That's what we mean by infinite workforce. Built for you, built with you. So you can do it too. We would this is the creativity that this gives us. So thank you, Ashu, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Manoj. So this is built by few engineers, forward deployed engineers from Deloitte in a matter of 2 weeks. If you are thinking that, am I talking about the old school interface? What about mobile? What about chatbot? Should I be doing all through Claude? Anything is possible. The biggest shift is not in what we have built. The world has moved from you buying the software to you building it. And building is still an enterprise-grade software, and that needs the foundation that we are ready to provide you with Talent Forge. My guess is that over the next 5 years, I did not guess, but conjecture, and a very strong one, that 90% plus of you in this room over the next 5 years will have in-house built HRIS and ATS and performance management system deployed in your organization. Actually, most likely I'm going to be wrong, and that time is going to shrink. And the only reason it may not shrink it is because you're locked into a 7-year contract or 8-year or 10-year contract with someone. But outside that, it will happen. But that's probably daunting. That's probably a bit scary thought, a bit discomforting. So my ask to you all is, let's not worry about that. What changed for me is when I did it, when my son did it, when my team did it. That is when everything changed for me. So my ask for you is to pick something small, something manageable, something that you always wanted but couldn't get it. Maybe from 8-Fold, maybe from your HRIS vendor, maybe from your ATS vendor, maybe because your CHRO is asking for it, or your CEO is asking for it, your business partner is asking for it. Just go pick something. And then let's work on it together, let's build it together. Because you are the dreamers, you are the builders of the future, you are the creators. Now future is in your hands because your organization, your HR function is meant to drive the business, not to just keep the lights on. With all that, thank you. Welcome to Cultivate 2026. Super excited. There are booths outside where you can actually see it in action. And we have a breakfast tomorrow mornings. Many of you are joining. So I would encourage you to come up with an idea that you would like to implement. And then let's see what we can do. Thank you all.